You on? Ready?
I'm good. Yep.
Wait till Doug gets his breath and sits down.
I'm all unmuted, camera, recording.
Okay, I'm going to call this meeting of the Board of Supervisors Workshop to order. It's 2:02, and let the record show the board members are present except Flavia. I'm expecting her shortly. We're going to have a presentation by the Parks and Recreation Committee first, and then we'll go questions and answers and stuff back and forth. Okay.
So just, point of order, if before you speak, you can just identify yourself. And then for purposes of quorum, just go through on your side and let us know who's.
I just might introduce everybody on the deal, just for the record.
We'll do a roll call. My name is Paul Leargren. I am the chairperson of the Parks and Rec Committee here with
Ken Frieda.
Bill Spargrove.
I let you know those microphones are really good. So if you kind of got them in between all of you, as long as you face it, you'll be fine. Camera's on.
Joe Schofield.
Thank you.
And we're here to partake in this workshop today. What we've done and what is in front of you is kind of an outline along with a little bit of a speech I prepared that I'll be going through. It's not going to take too long, but we will revisit after I speak on those three main bullet points that we have listed at the top. So I want to start with an opening. Good afternoon, everyone. First, I want to say thank you. Thank you to each board member for your time, your service, and your continued commitment to making this community truly special. What we're here to discuss today isn't just about budget or projects. It's about a shared vision. It's about what we want this community to look like, feel like, and offer to the residents who call it home. PRAC is excited to be at this table with you, and we believe that when this board and PRAC work together in alignment, there is nothing we can't accomplish for the people that we serve. So the first section, we're talking about the budget process and where we see ourselves fitting into the overall community plan. So let's start with the foundation, which is the budget process. One of the things PRAC would like to see moving forward is a clearer, more collaborative framework for allocating capital improvement dollars each year. Here's what we're proposing. A working annual budget allocation dedicated to capital improvements paired with a rolling 5-year plan that gives everyone, the board, PRAC, and the community a clear roadmap of where we're headed. This matters because when we plan together in advance, we reduce any surprises, stretch every dollar further, and create accountability to the community, or that the community could see and trust. We're also asking that PRAC be formally included in the project initiation and planning processes and phases, particularly in the design and the development phase of improvement plans. We want to be at the table early, not just at the finish line. PRAC brings community perspective, resident feedback, and creative energy to every project, and we believe that involvement from the start produces better outcomes for everyone. So that's a little bit on the budget. In section 2, we're talking about our 5-year plan. We've kind of prioritized what we feel would be a good vision, and if we could kind of talk about this a little later on and see if it falls in alignment. So now with the framework in mind, PRAC has developed and prioritized a list of capital improvement projects we'd like to see moving forward together over the next several years. These aren't just wish list items. They're projects our residents are asking for, projects that build community and add long-term value to our parks and common areas. So for 2026, 2027, and trust me, I'm well aware that the budget is already, of course, sealed for 26 and coming up on 27, right? But these are kind of more important items that we feel need to be addressed yesterday. We're recommending we focus on 3 major things for 26 and 27. Perimeter fencing at Commons Park, which addresses safety and improves the overall look and feel of the space. The look and feel isn't as important. We're going to talk a little bit more in depth about this later on, but the perimeter fencing, at least in the front of Commons Park, against the Gateway Boulevard barrier, we feel is very important immediately. A parking lot expansion, because we know accessibility is a constant challenge at our events and on a daily basis, right? and relocating the dog park to the Commons Park, which creates a more vibrant, multi-use destination for dog owners and non-dog owners alike. So the reason why we put those two things together specifically, the dog park, we understand, needs to move over to the Commons to expand the parking scenario over there, right? So those three things we feel are the most urgent to be addressed. And that's why we listed those for what we would like to see now, basically. And then the 5-year plan looking ahead, 2028, we'd love to see community pavilion at the Commons Park. And we had presented this early 2025. We'd like to talk about this a little more and revisit it. This is a game changer. A covered multi-use pavilion opens the doors for events, gatherings, and programming that simply aren't possible right now. It becomes the heart of the park. In 2029, an agility course at the dog park. And this features, or it's a feature that becomes, or has become enormously popular in communities across Florida and gives residents another reason to get outside and stay active. By 2030, we'd like to see a disc golf course at Linear Park. This is a low-cost, high-engagement amenity that attracts a wide demographic and activates a space that is currently pretty much underutilized. Looking ahead in 2031, we conceptualize the idea, it's probably the most ambitious project that we're thinking about, but a gymnasium or a community fitness center. This is the kind of facility that transforms a community. It serves seniors, families, young adults, and everyone in between. It's the kind of investment that residents talk about for years, and frankly, the kind of investment that makes people proud to live here. We recognize that a 5-year plan only works if we protect it. If we treat it as a living document that this board and PRAC revisits and refines together each year. And we're going to actually propose that not only do we meet every year, but probably more often than that to kind of really focus in on these improvements. We're committed to this partnership. So section 3, we're going to talk about programs and community initiatives here. So beyond the physical improvements, PRAC wants to bring life and energy to these spaces through programming or through programs and community initiatives. We have 2 ideas to start with that we're especially excited about to share. And the first would be food truck events at the Commons Park. So imagine a monthly or bi-monthly evening where families gather, local vendors set up, kids play, and neighbors meet neighbors. Food truck events are low cost to produce, enormously popular, and they create exactly the kind of community culture we want to foster. PRAC is ready to organize and coordinate these. We just need the green light. And second, we were discussing a banner program. And this one is particularly exciting because it has the potential to generate revenue for the community rather than spend it. So here's the vision here. PRAC takes the lead on designing a banner program for our parks and common areas. Think sponsor banners along the fencing that we would put up on Gateway Boulevard, at the pavilion once that's built, at park entrances, etc. PRAC would recruit and sell sponsorships to local businesses that want visibility within our community. And in parallel, PRAC would actively research and pursue grant options that align with our capital improvement goals. So this is PRAC doing what PRAC does best. We're creative, we're being entrepreneurial here, and we're finding ways to bring more resources to the table for the benefit of all of our residents. So in closing, I want to come back to where it started. This is about collaboration. This is about a board and a committee that believes in the same thing. Community of people, a community people are proud of, families want to be a part of, and that only gets better with time. PRAC isn't here to create more work for the board. We're here to be a resource, a partner, and champion for smart, thoughtful investment that the places where our residents live, at the places where our residents live their lives. We are ready to roll up our sleeves and excited about what we can build together. Thank you. So going back to the top, again, the main topics here, what we're really looking to focus on and kind of get clarity on is the budget process, the 5-year plan that we'd like to see, and the programs that we could kind of kick off now.
So running with the idea that the board mentioned at the last meeting was giving them a slush fund, but a budget to work with. Unlike with PPAC and all of its subcommittees, they generate the projects, they generate the ideas, they, in essence, bill themselves for it. PRAC doesn't necessarily have that leniency that PPAC and its subcommittees do. So I think the number may be up for discussion. I think we threw a $200,000 number because that would get at least the ball rolling with any type of engineering or permitting or design in that nature. But then it would give them the opportunity to own a project or projects and run with it. So
I'd like to see something different. I totally agree on the capital improvement plan, but I'd like to call it a capital reserve and improvement program. We've got two issues that I see, and they're getting worse as we go on because we're investing more, which means we're going to need to have more money in reserve to replace equipment that's going to come apart. Instead of a 5-year plan, I'd like to see a 10-year plan. And then on the new structures or new assets that we be building, just identify those, put them in a year period, and just like anything else, just schedule it out and have an idea of what it's going to cost. But along with those, we're also going to need to know what impact those have on operation and maintenance on each one of them. Some have minimals, other ones have a lot. Our biggest problem is right now we've got one issue that is yet to be resolved, and that's what we're going to do with this soccer complex. I mean, that's the tail wagging the dog. Until we figure out what we're doing there, you're talking about $2.5 million alone in capital investments that could be required there, from grass to street lights to drainage. So I don't even know that we have a set plan as to whether we want to go with grass or we want to go artificial. All that stuff needs to be looked at, but first of all, we got to be able to pay for it. So again, I like the idea of the capital plan, but I like it to be 10-year, and I'd like it to include a reserve component of all this stuff that we're buying right now, whether it be at the common park or it's over here at the soccer field. Let's see what's the service of life of that equipment. What's the return it's going to come back and bite us? Anything from grass to street lights to fencing to security, all of those items to make that park put it together. I think it's a big number. That's what I'm afraid of. But we need to know what it is going in to know what impact it's going to have on costs. Doug?
Yeah, just a couple things. And one, I just have to compliment all of you for your efforts. Not only serving on a committee is time consuming, but one like parks, there's so many different avenues and demographics and thought considerations and budget. It's a lot, and having 4 boys and being pretty connected to a lot of parks and recs, I've kind of been there. A couple things. One, I do want to just get your input on how you determined your priorities and the items. And then 2, one of the things that I think this board has shifted to over the years is really thinking about the demographics of our amenities and making sure that when we are building or promoting programs or whatever, that we do think about the demographics as a whole. We have a very diverse demographics here, from newborns to retirees and everywhere in between. So which even makes it more complicating when you're trying to build amenities and programs for that dynamic. So thinking about the demographics, thinking about the value that an amenity or a program brings versus the need, and how many people will that particular touch and at what cost. So there's a lot of analysis into it. So I'd love to just kind of get your thoughts on that a little bit. One of the other things, the pavilion's such a great idea. I think we've had some examples before. I think early on, Ed, in the previous years and years ago, it went from a pavilion to almost an amphitheater, which was really grand. So it can be very, very expensive. But when we think about this common park, one of the things that we don't have in Gateway is we don't have a central meeting area. We don't have a culture where events and getting together is something that happens on a regular basis. It happens on the community level. I mean, Pelican's a great example. Gateway Greens is a great example. There's other communities that have a community culture where you're getting together, you have events, and it just like every month you're like, okay, what's the event for this month? Like it's a behavior. We're starting to build that. But a good way to foster that is to have a central meeting area where you can have more regular, and it doesn't have to be expensive, but just get people used to coming out. So I've been a big fan of the pavilion. We just got to be able to do it that's cost effective and something that's multi-use, multi-purpose. The other thing is, I know you're talking about sponsors and generating that. There's something we've talked about for a long time, and I don't even know how many board members even remember it, but we've had conversations before around really creating an initiative in Gateway. Whether it's keeping Gateway green or Gateway is great or whatever that is, an initiative that the community can get behind, the residents can get behind. And I think if we can tie in some type of sponsorship level there, so you're donating or you're contributing to this initiative, and under the umbrella is the benefit that comes as a result. Sponsorship and banners, I have no problem with it. But I know that the leagues, if they do that and they go out for local business, and I don't mind competing with them, and I'm sure they wouldn't mind competing with us, and we have to drive revenue wherever we can. But I would just charge you to get creative on that, and see if we can create something that has multi-purpose, whether it's community volunteering, maybe there's some cleanup, maybe there's some gardening, or in addition to business sponsorships, resident sponsorships, and creating more of a larger initiative. So those are just a couple things that I had. I think budgeting will be a challenge for us. I mean, we've already done a lot, we spent a lot, and I still think there's still more to go. But I think it's going to be really important for you as a committee, for your voices to be heard, and for the items that you bring to the table that we action them, or else what's the committee for? Now, you can just have a governance committee that's just doing checks and balances for the board, but I don't think you guys want to be that. I think you want to be an active participant, and be responsible for some of the change and the impact that the parks have to the community. So that's all that I have.
I think the timing of the presentation in light of what's going on up at the Commons area is wonderful. I certainly want to support the empowerment, and with that, of course, comes budgets. I love the fact that it's going to be driven there. We'll make sure that we're, stewards of our money. But if you have money and if you have decision-making, subject to approval, of course, but if you have that and you feel that you have the ownership, you can do nothing but succeed. The time horizon, 5 years, 10 years, 7, that's not as important to me. Certainly we have to fund it that we can replace it. And that's something that's been overlooked too long within all of Gateway. So I'm excited about it. I like what I've seen, and encouraged and really supportive of your participation.
Can I just pick up on that?
Sure.
Bob? The Commons, when it opens, is first. I'm brand new to this committee. I didn't have anything to do with the development of that, but I think it's going to tell us a lot about how the community. I think there's been some good work. I'm not sure exactly who did it, but finding what people need in that Commons Park. So you've got, like, Doug, you outlined this very well, that a lot of different ages in there. I've been going to the swimming pool for years, and there used to be a playground right there. It was gone shortly after because, like what you said, it wasn't properly maintained. So there was really just the swimming pool. That's it. And I think we've got a great opportunity to see how all that's utilized. Pickleball age, that's great. My community in Hampton they're really excited about that idea because they have 3, and it's on a basketball court. So they're pretty excited about the prospects of that. There's a lot of parts in there. There's the dog walking trails. There's all kinds of things. And it'll give us a better idea how that's utilized and issues that maybe come up, security or otherwise. That's why we're pushing the fencing, because Gateway, when I moved here, Gateway didn't even go through. It was a dead end, and it quickly opened up, and now it's a major thoroughfare. So kids wandering off of that park into that street could be extremely dangerous. So we're concerned about that. And there may be other things that we don't even know about.
It's the first time we've tried to embrace the area that we have and make it useful to the community.
And it's unfortunate it took so long to do it
It is.
because the original builder, I think, had a plan for that area, but never did anything except the swimming pool. So we're kind of rectifying an issue that happened a long. We're really excited about the commons area and what could be utilized in that building, from small groups meeting to, who knows, Tai Chi, whatever. There could be a lot of different.
One of the biggest things that I would, and from a staffing perspective, that we've discussed, and I think you all have done the same, is how do we get you out of your neighborhood? How do we get you out of your community? Because each community has different perks, benefits, amenities. How can we draw you to the commons? And I think ultimately our goal too, Doug, is to have that be the common place, the common ground, right, that everybody goes to. I think from our perspective, I know we're going to have to, from a staffing point of view, we're going to have to, I know we've talked about hours of operation. I will tell you, since our last board meeting, I have had communications with, discussions with potentially naming rights vendors. That is, to your point, Ed, one of the things that Laura's been crunching numbers on is what P&I would be, and then what O&M cost would be, and what would that overall cost. And then let's take that concept, not just at the soccer complex, let's take it to the fun park. Let's take it to the pickleball courts, because we know in 5 years, how often do you have to redo pickleball courts? So those are costs that we're contemplating. So if we can get naming rights and sponsorships, banners are a great, add-on, but that's a lot of banners to make 200,000, a year, if not more. So, and then the other
Or
part,
one really, really big one.
huge one,
Yeah.
well, and the other part of that is our banners, our identity. Do we want to look out at the soccer complex and only see banners out there? So these are the things that I have been contemplating. I know Carrie and Paul, we've talked about it time and time again. But I think truthfully, naming rights, even if it's one court, one field, all of your entire list, we could easily ask for naming rights on the cost of these things.
Just one thing to your point, naming rights on things. These are just examples, right? We're giving 2 examples of things that we could do kind of right now to start this whole thing. But I too have brought up, and Prac has discussed, the idea of once a pavilion was to come to fruition, having people sponsor bricks, having people, we don't have a scoreboard at Sherman, sponsor scoreboard, kind of things like that we could definitely expand into. But to Doug's point about prioritization and how we came up with this list, to be honest with you, I have always been a big proponent of the center and centralizing everything over at Commons, and the pavilion being kind of number 1, right? If you look at Babcock Ranch, they have the Founders Square, and everything happens there. To have that base, I think, is going to promote this community, and that's what's going to bring the people together, right? Because even as we build out Commons, we have the pool, and then we have pickleball all the way over there, and and it's still kind of spread, right? We're doing the movies over at the soccer field, so everything's just kind of spread. If people have one place to go, they're going to start running into each other. They're going to start communicating. We're going to bring the neighborhoods together. That's when our amenities as a community kind of overtake any individual group's amenities, right? So we kind of had that first. The reason why we put, urgently, if you go back to 26, 27, is strictly because of what's already happening, right? Because the Commons is being built out, we feel like the security, like Bill said, on Gateway is we have to kind of find, like in our opinion, we have to find the money to get some type of safety nest up there now. We have to put some type of fencing there.
And you're coming from a safety more so than an access control.
Absolutely.
Well, yes.
Or maybe a combination of both, but
The concept is we come up with a fence at least along Gateway Boulevard to handle the safety rather, and then we expand later on with security. If we have to go around, we could go around, whatever it may be that we feel we need security for. but primarily right now, it's a safety concern.
And there's also a question of protecting the asset. I mean, we.
Yeah.
had
Yeah.
a couple of months things where some young people on their e-bikes got access to the property and did damage to the
Yeah,
golf
yeah.
course. And I think after spending the kind of money we're talking about to improve,
Yeah, I completely understand. And I think,
you need some protection.
you know, I ran a nonprofit for about 5 years. And with that, we had four board of directors or 4 officers. We had 10 to 15, I'd say, consistent, regular member volunteers active. And then we had a network of about 20 or 50. So if we ever needed people, we could tap into that. I think that's where I kind of see this committee going the next step, is going from you 5 to branching out to people that you tap into in your community or people that you know, your friends, family, and then having a network that even grows even further. Because I think the 3 areas that you, as a committee, in my opinion, could add the most value, which is difficult for the board and difficult for staff, is trying to drive a culture. And the culture from a Parks and Rec is really community. It's being active, outgoing, those types of things. So when I say culture, I'm not talking about a gateway culture necessarily, but part of our gateway culture should be, community. We're an outgoing. If you walk or drive down Gateway Boulevard, people are always walking, they're active, doing different things. And the other is programs. That's an area that I think we have struggled in the past to consolidate programs or to create new programs. So I'm not saying that you need to create programs, but you're the voice on the ground, in the ear to the ground, that can say, hey, here's what we're missing. I've talked to the people at Pelican. They got tons of programs. How do we incorporate some of those from a senior's perspective, overlay it into Gateway, and even in the other communities as well? And then the last one is capital improvement. I think that's very important, but capital improvement does cost money, and I wish we had more of it, but we don't. So in my opinion, it's driving culture, driving programs or identifying programs, and then capital improvement. And I don't think there's anything wrong with this board that says, hey, if you get to a point where you're raising revenue within your committee, that you can earmark that money as part of your annual budget. I mean, it's possible. We might say, no, whatever you raise goes back to the house, but I wouldn't be opposed to that. So, again, when I was running a nonprofit, I was trying to work with Gateway to do some things, and they just didn't have the budget. So we raised money. We put benches up at the park. We replaced playground equipment. We did stuff like that. So it's like, look, if we need it, if the funding's not there, then let's go out and find it. So those are just, a couple things.
Go, Carol.
I think this group here can focus on, you are focusing on so many things, and I'm coming to these meetings for years now. Geez, my opinion has always been that the ideas have started, but on this group, I felt like we were an afterthought. We want to be more involved. And you're right, we are the boots on the ground. We have I think 10 years is more than we can chew off at this point. I think we're not prepared to move that far ahead, but 5 years is something that we can start working with, get our boots wet, and start moving forward. The ideas are one thing. Doing the detailed work that you will require is going to take a lot of time. And trying to develop a 10-year plan versus just working on what we just proposed is going to be a lot of time for us right now. And we have limited resources. But I think we got a lot for you folks. Understand you have final decision-making power. For skin in the game and provide better information, we think everybody will benefit. And talking about this fence, we talked about the security of the whole area. Rational to spend that kind of money. But if we put a section of fence up where it's most visible, it's something people see. And most people will say, geez, they've got this thing protected. There's always going to be somebody climbing over a fence, even if you have the whole. We can really do a job for you folks. And something else that I don't know that anyone's really thought of is Pelican Preserve pretty much says you have your stuff here and we have all of our stuff. But if you look at the demographics, Pelican Preserve does things during the daytime and not on weekends necessarily. And have resources here that their residents can use when they're least used here. It's going to be an enticement, like pickleball or even bocce ball or some other of those activities. They're filled up over there, which they frequently are in prime times. They aren't going to be filled up over here in prime time because of your kids. I think you can use that as a development for inclusion and happier people. And the happier people, the less they care about taxes maybe.
If I could add on, Joe mentioned something.
Unless they care about taxes.
Yeah, Joe mentioned something at one of our meetings about the fact that at Pelican, they have like barbershop quartets and different groups that don't have a place to perform. We were talking about the pavilion, and that would be just a great way to draw people in if they could have a performing place. And then they could be exposed to the entire community that way. So those kinds of opportunities could happen if the facility was there.
Carol, thoughts?
I've always believed that when you take on a mission, you've got to start with what you've got right now. And it seems to me that one of the things that we have right now is a pool, but I don't think it's being used like it could be used. I don't see why you couldn't offer some more things at the pool. And I'd like those ideas to come from you guys. I mean, I look outside our area and at 10 o'clock almost every day, you see ladies in the pools doing their aerobics and all that sort of stuff. That's something that could be done over at this pool too, but I've never heard anybody bring up that idea.
It was.
We have, yeah, that's going on.
Yes,
Yeah, it still is going.
we have an aerobics on Monday, Thursday. Well, I think you should look at more things to involve as many people as possible with the assets that you've got right now.
That's a good point.
Well, I think
And,
the problem with Pelican is
and-
communication.
That's true. But we do have a newsletter. We've got a CDD newsletter. And you can start putting those things in the newsletter and getting them out there to people. But then I think, yes, I think it would be absolutely imperative that you guys help us formulate at least the next 5 years of looking ahead in the budget and what to do about the Commons Park. If any of you guys have been here for the past, several months, you know that we've been talking a lot about the soccer fields across the way. And basically what I believe the board is trying to say is that we're trying to make that asset, we're trying to make the most of that asset.
Revenue neutral.
So that it does not affect the taxes.
Well, and also, Carol, too, we can't have one asset, and this pains me to say this, we can't have one asset that drains the capability and opportunity for expansion for other assets. And I think that's where it's getting to is can't afford to do anything else because we've got one thing that's costing us more than, and that's not fair to the residents, to be quite honest.
I would like the committee to look at different options that you're proposing in that same way. Let's try and make them with the least amount of burden possible on the taxes, but still provide them.
So Paul, what do you think you want to take away from the committee from this joint meeting today? Direction?
Yeah, I mean, well, okay, well, let me respond to Carol first. I agree with you, right? The pool is not being utilized, right? Not to where it should be. Now, I have always felt that there's a few reasons for that, right? It may be people don't know about it, right? Like they literally just don't know it's there. They don't live in that community, so they don't see it. You know, there's one thing that happens at the pool, which is swimming. That's it, right? So if I don't swim, I'm not going to go to the pool. So it kind of goes back and leads back to the idea of, yes, I agree. We could do more to promote programs at the pool now because it's an asset that we have that we could maximize, that we could even generate a little bit with programs. We could generate some income on it, right? But I think that building that community space where everything is going on there, other than soccer, right? Sherman's over there, it's a whole nother entity. But like when you're coming to Gateway, you have that gathering space, which happens to have a pool. That's going to expose a lot, because communication is, I feel like, the biggest issue. You know, Gateway sends out communication newsletters, that's great, no one reads them, we know this, right? But when an activity comes to town and something's going on, a food truck night or whatever it is, it's like, oh, there's a pool up here? I didn't even know that. All of a sudden, you're going to start generating buzz. Neighbors are going to take that back to their communities, and we're going to start community building, which is what Doug said before. You know, it's about building the boots on the ground, bringing the people together. Then those activities are going to start to roll. Not that we can't do it now, and I feel that we should, and we could improve on that for sure. What I feel, to your question, what I feel a takeaway is, I've always felt, I've been on Parks and Rec now for 2 years. I've always felt that we haven't communicated our fault, your fault very well with the Board of Supervisors. So I really feel that this is very valuable to kind of at least get a pulse of where you're at with what your expectations are of us, and really, because we're ready. We can absolutely do whatever. We're excited to make this place wonderful, right? We just need a little bit of guidance as far as what we have permission to do, and we'll do it. So I think touch bases, maybe semi-annually, maybe once even a quarter. I don't know what the answer is there, but where we have the opportunity to come in front of you and just say, this is where we're at, right? Like once we have this budget established or whatever you permit us to take, this is how we're allocating this stuff. And it's not just a report that I send to you, but we're sitting here and we're saying, this is what we've allocated. What do you think about this? This is what we're targeting now for next year because we have that coming up. That will improve things tremendously from our perspective.
Well, here's my problem. Not or anything, but that list of things you've got here, a list of possibilities, save the disc golf course.
Right.
We have done at least 3 surveys, and all the rest of those went down in flames, every one of them. Our problem is that the people have told us in survey after survey, I don't want this, I don't want that, I don't want this, I don't want that. I mean, we can't get hardly over 15% as the highest of any one item.
Yeah.
And where it comes to, and Bill, to answer your question, it's called history. You'd have been here 25 years ago, you'd know why we're having the issues we're having.
Right.
We had a board that tried to finagle a $7 million tennis complex through this deal, and it caused chaos in the community. Nobody trusted anybody, and especially this board. So we got to watch what we're doing, because what they're going to do is that they start seeing stuff like some of these things, specifically that pavilion's not had any interest at all. Just nobody wants it. If you guys can get out and get the mood turned around to where we feel that, hey, we've been down that road before and we know what that light at the end of the tunnel is, I don't want to do it twice or 3 times in my particular case.
But I think that's the challenge too. I agree with you, Ed. I believe that's accurate, because if you send out a survey that says, do you want a community pavilion? What I translate that to is like, it's going to be loud and it's going to cost me money. No, right? That's what's happening. And I think it comes back to us, like Doug said before, like you're saying now, to say why these things are important, not advertise it, but let the community know, like, this is what it will do for us. And I don't think that's been addressed, right? I don't think, or at least in a proper way, where we bring the community into the conversations. We don't get any people coming to the Parks and Rec, and I've always felt that that's been a big problem too. Like when we say what's on our agenda and we put it out there, no one's showing up to the meetings, and that's another thing that
Look around. I mean, you're not alone.
right. So
You're not alone.
But that's another problem I feel, especially when it comes to Park and Rec, because we're doing it in our own communities, But we need to get into the room here with the community too and say, hey, we had this idea for this pavilion. This is why we think it's great. Let people shoot it down with us.
Yeah.
And then we come to you and be like, okay, you're right, right? We have a pretty good basis where it's not going to be successful and this is why, so let's move on. But right now we don't have any of that data.
So there's a couple things there. One, a great way to get people to realize what they need and what they want is to show them. So a good opportunity might be, we do, maybe we look at the summer. We do some summer concerts. We rent a stage, put it in the exact spot that a pavilion would be, bring people there, get them in the habit of going, this is a lot of fun. And then as we're walking around, man, wouldn't it be cool if we actually had a structure pavilion here with some food trucks? You know, so you plant the seed and you see if it works. If no one shows up, then okay, what the point is a pavilion if no one's going to show? And again, that's part of the culture and the behavior that we need to shift. And I'll let you speak. I got two quick things. One area that is going to be important moving forward that we've talked about, but we don't really have any action for it, is once that Commons Park gets built, really the service road, as we call it, is going to be an opportunity. And I'll tell you some of the things that I see every day in my community is just people walking. I spend 3 to 4 days either at Paradise Coast, North Collier Regional Park, or Big Corkscrew, or here in Fort Myers. So I'm at a park probably 4 days a week. I always see people walking around. They're constantly walking while their kids are practicing. They're walking their dogs. They have it's funny, they have an exercise thing at North Collier. And it looks like they didn't spend a ton of money, but it has a lot of stuff. People use like 2 items on there. They step up and step down. They do pull-ups. A lot of the really sophisticated machinery that they have doesn't get used, but the location does. The plat that it's on that's a place where you go and you do some physical work. But my point is, when we look at the park, when we look at Linear Park, even if you come out here practice, sometimes you'll see parents just walking around. They'll do a loop. So it's little things like providing walking areas, those types of things. So maybe if you guys look at a little bit, and it doesn't have to cost a lot of money, it's the linear, what can we do to Linear Park to connect Commons Park to the rest of the community on the backside, but also give you a pathway to Sherman Soccer Complex. So just again, a couple things. And I think if we look in our budget now for this upcoming year, can we just look and see what dollars we have allocated to Parks and Rec, and if there's any dollars, even if it's 20 grand, or just, I think we need to give this group a starting point.
Well, I think that what they need to see is, one, there's 2 components. It's the capital component and the operating component. I think you need to see every aspect of the operating component. Right there, it's real simple. We made the decision, it's around $450,000, and we want to cut that by 75%. That's simple. The other hand, the capital is a huge one. We got a lot in the park right now, like $2 million in the new park going in. And we're going to have operating and maintenance costs associated with that. But if we want to have other additional items, those are yet to be, that you've got like on your list, that we need to identify. But I think what we need to do is to give your committee all the information, knowledge we have as to our numbers of capital. Joe, I don't think it's that bad to do the 10 years. We know that when you get out 5 to 10 years, you're going to be doing some guessing. But we've got it identified. We've got it identified, the items. The number may not be exactly perfect, but we've got it identified. And then add to that not only the repair and replacement cost, which can get big on park equipment because that stuff does not last forever. And then the other one is the new items that we want to do, throw those in, grass, lights. I like the idea of the, the linear park for one reason. That linear park protects us on the backside of the regular park. The fencing and the security, if we can wrap it around past the Hampton Park gate so that they can't get in that way, all the way around down to the pool or to the lake. Now the only way they can really come in without being identified is through the linear park. And if we put something, chain link fence for all I care, down the linear park. But out front, the last thing I want to see is do this beautiful building and everything and have a ugly looking chain link fence out there.
Yeah.
Right.
We need to have a
Completely
nice,
agree with that.
nice fence that looks nice and does what we want.
With landscaping and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I'd say, enjoy this time that you have right now where you can sit back and you can think of things to do. I guarantee you, when are we supposed to go live, breaking ground with the new?
With
Yeah.
opening?
Yeah.
August.
When August, September, when the end of this year comes around, you're going to have more things to address because people are they're going to start saying, we need this, we need programs, we
You'll
need
start
this.
to
What
realize-
about this? What about,
Yeah.
your plate is going to be full towards the end of the year. And I will bet $100 on that you guys sitting around trying to think of things, those days
There's a lot of
will be
things,
gone towards the end of the year.
The one that's
there's
got-
a lot of things that right now you don't even see that are going to happen. I've been in Twelican 20 years, and our amphitheater is being used more now than ever before, and not all shows. Now groups are going out there. There's an Italian group this morning, must have been 30 or 40 of them sitting around, and they're having a meeting in the area, not on the amphitheater, but they're taking advantage of the facility.
Right.
We got a ukulele group.
Right.
And Joe talked about. We have more and more people expanding to what's available to them. And I think we'll see that too. 6 months from now, we'll know a lot more than we know today, no doubt about it.
For sure.
Yeah, your parking expansion's got me concerned. I'm worried about that too. We get loaded up and there is not a lot of parking in that new facility
I sure
whatsoever.
hope that's a problem.
We're going to be looking at grass and here we go again. Going out there to try to make it look somewhat manicured and then we got cars parking on it.
That'll be great news if we have that problem.
Yeah, those are
That's what I
great
was gonna
problems.
say.
to have.
Right, like,
We need a plan A if that happens.
Yeah.
So we've got about 12 minutes left. I just want to make sure that you guys have clear direction or what is it you're trying to get from the board? Because I don't want you to leave here more flustered and confused than when you guys came. So is there?
I'd like to make sure staff gets to Paul to distribute to the community the capital program that we've got projected at this time and the operating costs that we've got projected at this time.
Yes.
And hopefully we have those operating costs separated because that soccer to me is a whole different ballgame from the rest of the park system.
Right.
And then just
And
know
I-
what kind of numbers we're dealing with because they're big. They're big numbers.
And I would like,
What's the board interested in also? You know, we come up with ideas, but we know that you've been involved with ideas, and we need to have, so we can coordinate our efforts. That's one of our frustrations was we learned about things after the fact, not be part of it. We'd like to be part of it rather than.
We want you to drive it. I mean, to be
Yeah,
honest,
we'd be
like,
happy
we
with
will
that.
mention stuff in this meeting
That would be
and
our
forget it
goal.
by the next meeting.
That
And
would be our
not on
goal.
purpose. I think again, what I say part of your responsibility is get out and talk to people. What do people want? What do people want right now? And I love what Carol said. How do we take advantage of them? How do we enhance amenities and programs that we have the capability of doing today? How do we grow events? And then the capital is something that that takes a little bit more. But is there some low-hanging fruit from a capital perspective? If I gave you $20,000, what would you spend on it today?
Right.
Where would you get the biggest bang for your buck?
Right. Well, I think, Doug, that's what we take.
We're going to drive it.
I think that's what we take now back. Let's say you do give us 20,000, whatever it is, right? Then we take that back and we say, okay, now we have a fiduciary responsibility to allocate these funds.
Do you want to put some benches in, or do you want to
Right.
throw an event over the
Right,
summer and
exactly.
hire a band and get
Yeah.
a stage? I mean, that's,
Right.
But I don't think we know what $20,000 is gonna get.
But that's
Sure.
our job.
Yeah,
But that's
yeah.
our job.
You
to
gotta
find
figure it out.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
like, either, the two ways this works. You come to us and say, we want to do this, it's going to cost $30,000. And then we say, okay, we'll decide on it.
right.
Or you say, give us an operating budget and let us figure out how to maximize those dollars.
And that's where we're coming from.
And one of those two things,
Right. That's
need
where
to
we're
happen.
coming
And right
from.
now,
That's
we're
what we
not
want.
saying, well, you guys, you have a list, but some of those
Big pie
are
in the-
big ticket items. So
yeah.
scale it back, because I
Right.
think you need to start with something. I think you guys need to put a flag in the ground
Yeah.
and say, we either pulled off this event, or we created this initiative,
Yeah.
or we stood this event up for the summer fest, or
Yeah, whatever it
summer
is.
luau, or whatever it
Right,
is. And just, I think you guys need a victory, to be quite honest.
I'm going to walk away with here stating, you've given us initiative and the authority to start working on our own and make present.
And the last thing I'll say is be critical of what you're doing. A lot of the stuff, it's absolutely valuable. But again, if I were to break it down and say, how many people does it impact? What is the cost per use? Some of these things, it's fantastic. And it's the same things that I've probably pitched in the past. But if I'm getting down to dollars, like even the dog park, we've gone back and forth on whether that is feasible for us to continue to maintain. And I have a dog and I use the dog park. Like, I don't want to take that away, but if we can't reasonably manage it, if only 100 people out of the large, vast majority of people, if it just doesn't make sense, it doesn't make sense. And we don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but that's how critical you guys have to be with your ideas that you bring to the table. Like,
I think that's one of our biggest problems. We have such that disparity that you talked about earlier, that you aren't going to get to that 50, 60% that we all agree or have a big agreement. We have this faction that likes this, we have this faction that likes that. That makes it complicated. And again, capital costs have never bothered me on this type of stuff because it's amortized. It's amortized. It looks like cheap money, and it is because it's scattered over time. The killer is the operating. If we come up with stuff and assets or plans that just nail us on operating costs, that's the killer.
But again, thank you all for coming out. You have our ear. We're completely behind you. We just all have to sign up because this is all new for us. Like, we haven't built anything new in parks for a long time. We've been maintaining what we have. So we're in new waters.
We're going to learn a lot when that new deal opens.
Absolutely.
We're going to learn a lot.
We're probably going to fail forward a little bit too.
To give you an idea, I had a conversation with a gentleman off of that way, Ace, $500 a month. A month. And
What?
for pickleball, access to pickleball courts.
To belong to it?
To belong to the club.
How many hours does that get you a day?
I think it was so many times a week, it had limitations to it.
Because in the golf deal, we have that, what do you call it? Chelsea system. Last thing we do is we get that, we're all going to get hung.
Well, I hope we're in the future, we're going to have problems. Good problems to have, which is volume and parking and overuse and but again, things to think about. Work with Ms. Carey on what are some of the programs we should start thinking about standing up for pickleball for various ages or even events or all that stuff. We have amenities coming. Let's not wait till we break ground for us to start thinking, what the hell do we do with them now that they're here?
Tamara, you have something?
Just one thing, this is Tamara Zahn, and to answer somebody had talked about is I got a lot of value out of this. Maybe we can learn better things that we can bring to you guys. So back to your question about once a year, twice a year, maybe once a quarter. We don't have to decide this minute, but that's something I would like out of this meeting is when can we come and present to you guys?
At least once a quarter.
Yeah.
At least once a
At
quarter.
least I agree, at least a quarter.
And the door's open. If there's something that you need to bring to us, look, all you have to do is tell Chelsea, we need a few
Particularly
minutes
over
on the
next
agenda.
18 months, yeah.
Yeah.
We do monthly reports, the
second meeting
of the month. So, and I know that you all provide those, Paul provides those, but if you want to come in person.
And do it. Okay,
Yes,
that's nice.
Even if it's a 5-minute jump,
Yeah.
jump up to the podium, give a quick update. I mean, the more information we get from you, the better. It keeps us connected.
That's what I was just going to say. The detail of your minutes helped me because I could read that. That's where I picked up on, I think, the parking issue.
Right.
I know that you guys had a discussion of that.
Yeah.
That's handy because you can read that and get a flavor of what's going on.
Yeah, good.
So, thank you.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. 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 If you want to, you can camp out there for the night for, what's the cost for? You get the first night?
We got a roof now. We got a roof.
Did you put your back door in so you can exit from the conference room?
Yes,
Did you really? I would mention that to somebody.
absolutely.
That
Oh, no.
Yeah.
That was a consideration.
What we're living in
When they
now.
keep shooting people.
No,
I didn't know that.
I didn't either. So you're going to read and then
I don't know.
take pictures with them. And then we'll do
I'll make sure I read it.
Okay, that's right here.
I'll make sure I look for it.
So,
don't know where it's
what we have here.
That's what would happen.
There's
You know?
a certificate of recognition.
But that's, seriously,
I know,
what happened down there,
sign her name.
Do what now?
I don't know how the community is right here or.
My writing won't look like anything.
Well, the one thing I'd say is.
Paul, can you move that
We spent a
table?
lot of time.
But these are not, the residents that live in the county.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
It was Miss Sephora.
Laura Lou, how are you?
I'm all right.
Chelsea. Nice to meet you.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay.
And then we're gonna have you guys come up. How do you say your last name? Okay, got it.
Usually they're interconnected.
You just have to move that wherever you want to put it.
Lucas.
That's from.
Okay, okay,
Which tells you this is gateway flag.
okay.
And it's posted outside the school.
If they were gonna come.
It said,
This one or
location.
Okay, we can push it if need be.
Where was this at?
This was last weekend in front of the school.
The new school.
Yeah, it was the elementary school.
Oh, the elementary school.
What?
Okay,
Yeah, because you overflow parking's over there.
okay.
And I was parking and I saw this and I'm like, oh, I haven't heard. Because I have dates on it, could just be maybe their summer league
They blamed it.
here.
Oh, they blamed
That's,
here.
that's
Oh,
the
okay.
other big league we have. We have soccer, Gateway Soccer and Gateway Flag. That was Tim that came in a couple weeks ago.
Thank you.
Spoke.
Okay.
I'll take it back and read it.
Oh, yeah, that's just that initial.
But that's on
That's a
one
guy
field.
that's,
Yeah.
we've got, what, about 550?
Thank you, Tony.
Yeah. But he,
I know, I was racking my brain, I kept doing, and nothing came up when I was doing the pro tem. I said, aha, let me try something else. I went, oh.
What's the plan?
Don't rack your
play
brain.
all day,
Yeah,
all night.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know
Oh, yeah, Carl, okay,
logistically.
I'm sorry. Engineer.
But that's something to keep an eye on.
It absolutely is, I agree. Yes, it's good work with the academy. I like it.
How do you, does your committees, are they,
Well,
do they have budget?
No, it's nice because you.
Can they spend money if it gets approved?
Do what now?
Sephora Van
Well, first of all, it's budgeted.
Van Cole.
Yeah, if it's budgeted, they
budgeted.
do.
This, once
But
we
do
put
they
that
get
It's in their
any
budget.
And then we're gonna go up and take a
They all have
picture and
some
you'll hand it to Steve.
Okay, what about this one?
Not here.
Here's what we researched, this is what we recommended for the board, and we've got inputs from multiple areas. Instead of
Tony, you
us
about
trying to
ready?
do it all on our own.
And you don't come in saying we need $3 million federation.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
We're not
It's a 6-year project.
Oh, it's 3 o'clock.
And that's how it's expensive.
But also, we don't have,
I'll
we
blame it
still
on the
don't have the
engineer.
volunteers, but I don't know.
Okay, we'll call the Board of Supervisors meeting of Thursday, February 19th to order. It's 3:01, and let's do the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, let the record show all members are present. Bob, Doug, Carol, and Ed. Flavia is not here today. Approval of final agenda. Any changes, additions, or corrections to the agenda?
I have none.
All moved.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Local achievements. We have this is our initial Local Achievements Award, and I would like to welcome, on behalf of the Gateway Services District to the board, Sephora Van Call and your family.
All right.
Read that and then we'll take
I'll
pictures.
read this for the record. On behalf of Gateway Service and Community Development District Board, I don't know why I even try this. We proudly recognize Sephora Van Call for consistently embodying the spirit of altruism through her genuine care and dedication to both students and staff. She continually seeks opportunities to serve others, whether assisting with bulletin boards, supporting students during challenging moments, helping with event setups, or creating thoughtful, themed incentives that uplift and encourage those who may be struggling. Her actions reflect the promise of strong minds, good hearts, and exemplify the values of purpose, passion, integrity, and grit, making her a true example of what it means to be a giver within the community. Representing Gateway Charter 5th grade, Sephora Van Call.
Sorry, Doug. Let me get out of this picture.
You guys may have to scooch that way. To your left.
Ready? 1, 2, 3, big smiles. One more. All right, good job.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Thanks for coming. Have a good day.
You too, thank you. Could you email that to Mr. Johnson?
Thank you all.
Great.
We should be doing it regularly.
That's fun. That's fun stuff.
Might add, we did have another one, but we'll do that at the next meeting.
Yes.
Okay.
How often are we doing these?
Every meeting.
So we're recognizing
Because
someone.
well, as long as they suggest, we've got
Yeah,
4
so we're gonna do it
schools.
every meeting. I think it's fantastic.
4 schools, and they're calling in as to whether they
Taking
have somebody or
turns.
not.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
What could be better? Reinforcing.
Public comment. Do we have any?
Yeah, nobody.
This is 2 meetings in a row. What's going on?
Don't ask.
Don't ask.
Keep going.
Running right along. Advisory Committee items and reports, Pelican Reserve Advisory Committee monthly report. Anybody want to offer anything on that? Nothing?
Move to receive the monthly report of the Pelican Preserve Advisory Committee.
A second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Pelican Reserve Emergency Gate Procedures. That was some interesting reading. Is that something that we can do anything with unless we go to Lee County? Because we got a development order issue there on that,
And in City of Fort Myers, there's 2.
too.
Yes.
And both of them were either one, it was of an emergency nature declared for like a natural
both.
disaster.
Yes. It
or
doesn't
something else
specify
that-
natural. Yeah.
There were two items that I think.
Yes.
It was up
Okay.
to the district's good discretion and good faith as
To
to what
define
constitutes.
Right.
emergency.
My point is, we're continuing with that, nothing's changed
No.
relative to that.
Correct.
Yeah, and-
They wanted where this stemmed from the garbage truck fire incident, and what do we consider, because we know hurricane emergency.
Do we
But
have
we
a-
didn't have any, this is supposed to help lay out some of the parameters for what is considered an emergency, and who determines if it's an
That's what I was
emergency.
gonna ask.
The chain of command for who to
Do
call,
we
who
have a chain of
decide.
command?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And then that chain of command is recognized by us such that if that person says that it's an
But
issue,
It's not a one-person decision, it's a group. That way they're not putting it all on one person. So it's a representative from Pelican and from the
Oh, I thought
district.
we don't have just
Chelsea.
one person that we're hanging our hat on that's on vacation.
It's me.
No, I'm, on their side.
Oh, no. I
That would
mean,
call in and
emergency's
say, hey,
emergency.
we've got a
We have an
problem.
event,
Yeah.
and then they'll determine.
Okay.
And then we
Is there-
have a trickle down here. If she's not there, I mean, it's me, then it would be.
Okay, is there a
Paul, then
motion
it
to
would be
approve
Melissa.
the
Yeah, just
emergency
for-
gate procedures?
When I looked at that, I looked at it in conjunction with, I went back and looked at the DRI development order and the agreements to make sure it was consistent with everything and not conflict with anything.
And it was?
Yes, it's fine, yep.
I think there were a couple of changes that, I don't know if they
Minor
got made
changes, yeah.
before this got put in. I didn't have a chance to look at the version of the board. They had just asked at PPAC, because it talked about resident egress, and there was discussion about, well, what about, there was a moving truck, and are they stuck in the community then because they're not a resident? So they were just gonna remove the word resident and just make it say egress.
Okay.
So there were some nits, but otherwise the substantially, but minus a few words like that, it's,
It's more so communication between us and the.
But it's defined is my
community.
point.
Yes.
Okay.
who do you
Is there
tell
a
if
motion
something's
to
going
approve
on?
that gate procedures?
Carl made it, and I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Last item, Pelican Reserve Advisory Committee, PPCA member appointments. I believe we had two. We had a continuation on one and a new appointment on the other.
Correct.
And your new
How on
appointment is
earth can
present.
you take and be gone from ponds? You are Mr. Pond.
Be the pond liaison.
Professor already been trained for 4 or 5 years.
He'll be the new
They would be
liaison.
better off without me.
I don't, I
Doug's been
that I
all
don't
wet.
believe.
He's been all wet for years.
He's,
I will be the interface from PPAC to ponds.
He'll be the
And
new
I'll
liaison,
also be on the
yeah.
ponds, the bigger group, I just won't have a voting position. We
Is
got
there-
30 people on the thing, the board's a smaller number.
is there a motion to approve those two
I'll make
appointments,
that
the
motion.
reappointment and the new appointment?
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None? Thank
Thanks,
you.
Doug.
Thank
So
you.
does that mean, Dougie, that there's an opening for you to maybe take?
Yeah.
Yes, so we'll have to post the.
No. I don't mean on the, I mean, we could surely use you on the larger gateway side of the house. Give you a week, and when you're
Fill up
bored,
your board time, so you're not bored.
yeah. When you're not,
That song, one step at a time.
I'll have our people get in touch with your people, and we'll see how that
My
works
people will
out.
call your people.
Yeah, all right.
Who are your people?
His wife.
Our people.
People, do you have people?
We people.
Oh, you know. I don't think we had anything, did we?
Nope.
Okay, no.
No.
Consent agenda items. Anybody have anything on A, B, or C?
I do not, I peruse
I move on consent agenda items A, B, and C.
9A, B, and C.
9A, B, and C.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? One question I had on that was, why is there only like 2 people on mulch? Is there, I thought that would be a lot more,
We put it
Play
out,
of that.
we sent it out to like 5 or 6 different vendors, and that's the only ones who submitted back by the time frame that we put.
It'll take them 2 months, but they'll get,
I'm sorry.
it'll take them 2 months, but it's the cheapest, you know?
Yeah, that's happened with other clients of mine also on mulch bids, the straw, pine straw mulch bids. They just don't get that many.
We've learned our lesson at Gateway Greens that pine straw don't get it.
No,
That stuff ends up in the streets, it ends up all over the
blows
place,
all over the place.
and your golf ball lands in it, you sure as hell don't want to have that happen.
Mine stays in the fairway.
Land in the fairway.
Not that good. Going on, district engineers,
Stephen is not on,
Eric and.
but
Jason are
Eric
both there.
and Mason are here to present. So Mason, you want to lead it off?
Yeah, no problem. Mason Lundquist, engineer with Tetra Tech. I'll kind of go through mine and Stevens, and then I'll hand it off to Eric.
For this Alan.
So the first project, the irrigation pump station generator, we're waiting on the county to close out the permit. Irrigation and force main improvements, we are still awaiting funding. Chelsea and I worked on the RFI from
Need it bigger.
HMGP. Lower Hawthorne Well, that one's also, we're waiting for the county to close out the permit. FY25 Lake Bank construction. An NTP was just issued to Met Tower to start on Lake 75 and 81 in Daniels Preserve. And they're going to start next week. And then the HMGP Lake Bank projects for the 21 lakes, the 30% plans were submitted to Chelsea, and then I'm going to upload that to the CDBG website and submit that to HMGP as well for a progress report.
Just really quick on those, the lake banks, do we need to adjust those dates?
No, because that's
We-
when their task authorization was approved. You mean the end dates, the anticipated completion dates? Yeah, Tetra Tech has to do that.
Yes. So we got held back a little bit, but we're starting to chug on those plans. So Pelican Preserve Pond 43, MRI started this week. We're reviewing submittals, and they're going to get going on that. And then the Pelican Preserve Boulevard Mill and Overlay project, we are targeting the end of this month for the bid package. And then we go on to the CCTV sewer project. We just wrapped up that final report.
That will be
believe-
included in the utilities monthly report.
So
Okay.
does that date need to be updated as well?
Yeah.
Are we not updating dates anymore, or we just oversight because Steven's not here?
Stephen was out sick, so I'm
Okay.
just gonna attribute it to.
Could you guys just
oversight.
make sure that we're updating the dates, please?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
CCTV storm. The Atlantic Pipe Services is about 50% complete, and they're still working out in Stony Brook. And then
Those are ones that need to be
GIS
updated
support.
also.
I will talk with Steven about the dates. GIS support services, that's an ongoing effort with staff to update the GIS. Daniels Parkway Apartments, we have a new submittal in review. And then the last one I got is the Garrett FM. We have the turnover in process.
Elson, can we have,
Get that on the agenda for today, I believe.
can we just have Steven in the next update for the GIS? Can we have an update on what has been done? So updating the GIS is a very generic.
Never ending.
Is it very generic, but I'd love to know that we've tackled this, we've tackled this, we've
So
tackled this.
They've tackled all of the utility side of things. As the stormwater and the sewer stuff has come in, they've incorporated that. We've had some hiccups with updating those assets because it talks to Cartograph, which is our quest for action side of things. We're almost done with the public works side of things. I know we were going back and forth with Passarella there for a little bit on getting the Pelican items incorporated. So right now, they're going to start to go into reviewing plats and incorporating all of the easements as part of our GIS system.
And this might be a dumb question, but does the board have access to the GIS system?
No.
You do to Pelican. Pelican is open to
On
the public.
Passarella's website, you do. Our intent is to get there, to have a public facing side of things, because it's not for public consumption, our utility lines.
We're not.
You won't get water and gas and things like that, but in Pelican, you can see all the piping and.
But I would argue the board's not public.
That,
No, the board, as a supervisor, you're entitled to view those. That's correct. As well as, there's other components in GIS too, other plans and specs like the sports complex, recreation complex. Those facilities are confidential and exempt under Florida statute because of after 9/11.
Does the GIS
So the board
require,
members can have access to those plans.
does the GIS system require username and password, or is it a generic?
No,
No, it's password.
It is password
I mean,
protected.
well,
And it's on its own.
individual?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
So
so
we
you would
would
have
be
to create username and passwords for all of us.
Yes, and we pay, I don't believe we have a blanket. We only have enough for the handful of people that are touching it right now.
And they're not cheap.
Yeah.
I know they're not cheap.
So our intent is to have a public facing one, albeit if it's the board level or if it's the general public, to have those layers. But right now, we're just focusing on getting all the assets in.
So
And it wouldn't be a bad idea to get an overview of where we are
Yeah. we can
and let
have
us
a-
see some examples
we can have-
because there's so much data there, it'll blow you away.
just today, having access to Billy came over and met with me, having access to as-bills on water locations at the intersection of Callaway or Commerce Lakes and West Lakes.
Yep.
We got pipes and valves. We have no idea what the hell, where they're going. Trying to figure out if we had as-bills, we'd be able to tell that real quick.
So that's the next step, because that is time consuming, is to pull all of those as-bills to look at the plats
We need-
and maps.
Yeah, if we needed to see something, like I'm kind of looking at Bob and Ed, what's up myself. But if we needed to see something, we would just get with staff and they would
What we do
open it
now.
up. That's what you guys do today?
Yep,
Okay, all
send
right.
us an email, send me an email, and I can get that. I can either, if Austin can't pull it, we can get Tetra Tech to pull it. But understand, like, this stuff is in flux right now, so.
And it's going into the rabbit hole, Doug. There is so much in there to see. It really is.
Mhm.
I had one task item. As I understand it, you have been issued a task authorization for the tree line west side sidewalk.
Nope, not yet.
Nope.
Oh, I'm
Coming to
sorry.
you next meeting.
Excuse me, I thought we already
They
voted on that.
they drafted it, and I got it back yesterday, but it's coming in front of you
Okay.
guys at the next meeting. As well as this one right here in front of the soccer complex along Griffin.
Thank you.
That would go to Timberwood Preserve.
All right. I don't see very many Pelican things on there, so I look.
Lots of Pelican thing.
Well, that's true. That's true.
Anything else? We switch it over to Eric?
Yep. Mason, you good?
Thanks, Mason.
Yeah, I'm all good. Thanks, guys. Yep, all
Thank
Eric
you.
now.
All right, good afternoon. The Sherman Soccer Complex, we just got requests for additional information letters last week from both Lee County and the South Florida Water Management District. So we're engaged in responding to those issues, working through some items to get resubmitted in the next 30 days. The Commons Park, I'm sorry, I skipped over the Public Works Building relocation site plan. That is submitted to Lee County and South Florida Water Management District. We should have an RAI from the district, I think, in 2 weeks' time. And the county should be responding within the next 25 days or so. So we're on hold until we hear back from the agencies on those permits. The Gateway Commons Park is under construction and on schedule for substantial completion on August 5th. You've probably seen some of the progress as you drive by. You can see that the roof trusses and decking have started on the admin building. Mechanical and electrical are doing the interior work and framing out the inside of that building. The contractor, OAK, has acquired all permits for all buildings and sports fields. I think the only permit we have outstanding at this point is a generator permit from DEP. So things are moving on that project as well. Any questions on those 3 projects?
Any unanticipated change orders?
Yes. They'll be forthcoming.
Not looking forward to a surprise. What are these now?
We've had some going through, and Eric, you can probably explain, but just going through and from what was designed, like architectural driven, owner driven change orders. Perfect example is the stucco or the whatever this is called. Drywall. Original finish was like a low grade, like not nice full finish. It would just cover the lines, and what we're proposing is going to the level 5 finish, which would be this, having a nice finish. So little things like that have added up. We had the change of storm drains.
Nice finish.
Well, it's better than just like the
knockdown.
plain.
As opposed to just flat drywall, this is a knockdown.
Probably more like a skim coat, probably, is what you're
Yeah,
talking about.
so
before.
there's that.
You don't see the tape on the wall on the cracks.
We hide that. So we had during original planning, we were gonna have the rubber surface at the playground. Well, we already paid for the engineered wood fibered, so we had to put some additional drains in that area to handle the drainage. Eric, what else am I missing?
So we're doing wood mulch as opposed to
The very expensive rubber mulch that would be poured in place. Yes.
Oh, that's what we're doing. Okay, I thought you were going in reverse. Okay.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I know
Anything else, Eric?
in the hand dryers, but I think that was already approved, was it not?
Yep, so we had some hand dryers. We did utilize the contingency, which we had $50,000 in contingency to cover some of these, like the shower pan didn't fit, so we had to find an alternative shower pan. So just things that we wouldn't have caught on the design side that a contractor knows the in and outs, so.
And I know this is probably late, and I'm hoping we've already considered it, but one of the big lessons that we've learned over the years when it comes to public facing bathrooms, to make sure you do your due diligence and put, very sturdy stalls and, dryers and that type of stuff, or else you'll just replacing those things.
Yeah.
So
And OAK has been great about, saying, hey, this isn't typical, this is not industry standard, the drywall being a perfect example. Hey, this is going to be your main building, your boardroom, you don't want to have it look
Right.
not the premier community of choice that we are.
Look like a broom closet.
Exactly.
Anything else, Eric?
That's it for me.
All right. Nothing else?
Thank you all.
All right,
Thank you.
Great evening.
Administrative agenda items, Echelon Garrett Utilities
Sentosa.
Conveyance.
Echelon, formerly known as Garrett, formerly known as
Sentosa.
Sentosa, formerly known as Alta. Ultimately, we've been working, the developer is here. We have been working diligently with them, and they have a lot of patience with us with all of the forms and documents, but punch list walkthrough was done, punch list was complete. There's just one caveat uniqueness to this project that we're recommending conveyance of the assets. Typically, when we've done this in the past, when we accept those assets, we reduce the bond to 10% and put it into a warranty period. Because they are biting at the bit to get those buildings open, and they have transitioned to a phasing plan, so they're going to get their certificate of occupancy on 2 buildings, and then they'll stagger it the rest of the way. The developer is willing to keep the full bond on file with the district and not start the warranty period or the maintenance period until they get their final closeout of the development order. Obviously, we're still going to have inspectors on site making sure that there's any issues, and they have vocalized to us that if anything comes up, they will address it. So with that, I know Tetra Tech, you saw in here, they were recommending approval. Conditional approval. Tony, if you
Yeah,
want.
and to follow up with what Chelsea was saying about the warranties, the bill of sale in the book is not the most recent iteration of the bill of sale, because we had some conversations. The warranty period starts at the time, it's 12 months from the time that Lee County does its development order closeout, which is anticipated to be, I think, end of June of this year. So that was one of their concessions that they discussed with.
In essence, that's the extension.
Correct, as well as the additional bond. And so we're getting a rider on the bond and also adding Echelon, because before we had Garrett Construction, and I was just talking to Carl, who's the engineer, about that. And so working with legal engineering, and it's been a good relationship working with them, good professional.
Excellent.
Yeah. We disagree on things, but then we agree on things. We've come to consensus on the documents. And again, that's going to be in the bill of sale. The warranty typically is 12 months from the date of acceptance, but this is 12 months from the project closeout of the DO of Lee County. So it's going to be an extra 4 months, basically. And then the bond stays in place until that time at the full amount. Then it gets reduced to 10%.
Obviously, we have the fence around it right now for construction, but will it be the property fenced?
You want to come up here, Carl? To this?
Tell us who you are. Not that I don't know who you are.
Hi, Carl Stout, Director of Civil Engineering for the Garrett Companies. So we'll phase this out. We're going to have the clubhouse first, and then the fence will be around the clubhouse, keeping all the community out of the active construction.
So they'll have a clicker or something to get in?
No, because that'll be open.
So it'll be open. Okay.
Yeah, that part will be open.
The site itself is not.
The site won't be, it's not a fenced community.
It's not gated?
No, it's not a gated community.
Okay, so ingress and egress can be either to Gateway Boulevard or to Commerce Lakes, either or.
Well, Gateway Boulevard, Commerce Lakes down the road. That's still going to be somewhat, for fire access, it'll be the whole time. But for residents and community, they'll only be able to
Almost
get.
totally Gateway Boulevard.
I'm sorry?
Almost totally Gateway Boulevard for residents.
Right.
During the phasing.
During the phasing.
And then it'll open up and it'll be both.
Yeah, and then one other component that's referenced into one of the documents, but the document's not in here, is a hold harmless and indemnification. Again, during that same period, it's referenced in the conditional approval, but it's a separate agreement, again, to protect the district's assets while they're doing the construction work on the other buildings. And that was, Chelsea had that concept and idea, and they agreed to it.
Yeah.
So are we releasing the money today, or are we releasing it in June?
We're releasing it, well, we're reducing
Reducing it in June.
Reducing it.
at the time of the development order closeout. So that could be.
June
he's
or
saying
later.
June or later,
Yeah,
yes.
right now what they're also
We
doing.
didn't put a time to it
So why do we need to vote on this today?
because we're accepting
Don't we
the,
want to make sure everything is done and then vote
in
on it?
order for them to get their certificate of occupancy, we have to control and maintain those utility lines. And so that's why they want to convey it to us. So that way,
Staggered development.
yeah.
Okay.
In other words, what Chelsea's indicated that I think the district engineer and staff did the punch list and a walkthrough of the utility facilities, and it's acceptable to the district, consistent with the plans that were approved. And the developer is also going to increase the bond to a greater amount than was originally posted, I believe. In fact, and add Echelon, the owner, as another principal on the bond. And so that's, and the warranty is longer than typical, again, because the warranty period doesn't start until the project development order closeout from Lee County.
Ultimately,
I move to approve.
Let's cut to the chase.
I'm done, we're done.
Perfect.
I'll second.
So there's a motion to, what is the actual motion that we're looking for to?
I would say to accept the utility facilities conveyance and utilities facilities documents, subject to the final review and approval by district manager, district engineer, and district council.
That's what I heard Carol
That's your
say.
motion?
Oh, yeah, that was it.
I thought it
Yeah,
was.
absolutely. I heard me say it.
Chelsea, I capture it all?
He's been practicing it. Is there a second to that motion?
I second.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Nice meeting you.
all right.
Girl Scout Lane Lift Station easement extension.
So following back up on this, you guys discussed this at the last meeting. Had a follow-up meeting with the church, and their stance was basically make them an offer for whatever we would be willing to pay for that easement. And I said, I don't have that authority to make an offer. I said, but don't be surprised if it's zero. So I'm coming back to you. In the meantime, we are working to see if we can rework the layout of the existing area of this lift station. Obviously, we have a Thompson pump that we have on order. We'd like to get in here. This is one of our, right next to Stony Brook is the second biggest odor issue station, but as well as Thompson pump. To know if you would entertain offering them a dollar value for the easement space that they are.
So the church is trying to monetize our ability to improve utilities within our community. That's what I'm hearing.
Well, put it a different way. We're asking somebody to grant an easement that they own land on. So I can go both ways on it. Talking to Billy this morning, he was giving me the idea that perhaps.
Wait, who's Billy?
Billy Shaw.
Our
utilities.
Okay.
I got the impression that we might have a solution that doesn't even require it. So, but if we went back the other way, my thing would be is if we had to condemn for an easement, what are we going to pay for the condemnation? Then, talking again to Billy this morning, there were things that were collateral to this that I wasn't all aware of, and that is the fact that they were using some of our power to energize a light and maybe a couple of other things. So what I'm trying to come up with is when we do a add and subtract of the pluses and the minuses, what's the offer? Are we talking about $2,000? Are we talking about $3,000? Are we talking about
$10?
What? But I have a problem when we have an easement, we charge people $500 to use it. I find a little problem with parity there. That doesn't make sense.
Okay, $500.
We want it in, but we don't want it out.
$500. That's what we get. That's what we give.
Okay,
That's one could be what it could come out to be.
In the background here, the very last sentence, last two sentences says, the basis for the church's claim is that this is a fair exchange for a grant of easement that the previous district manager discussed granting the church some form of compensation in exchange for an extension to the easement in January of 2020. Could someone fill me in on the history of this?
Keep scrolling.
The letter is in.
The letter's in there.
The letter is in the file.
My predecessor.
Oh.
They approached.
The letter is interesting at best.
Ultimately, this same concept, they approached the church back in the day. seeking an easement
Or,
to expand our existing easement so we could put additional
That letter there.
equipment.
okay,
This
And-
muddies the deal as far as I'm concerned. But
So ultimately, his point was, look, you guys came to, you guys being Gateway, you came to us back in 2020. We're not trying to make a buck on this. We're just trying to follow up with that initial conversation. So if I told him, I said, I can't make the number. I can't decide the number. If you don't want to.
but a number wasn't offered. It was just implied.
Yes.
And if it was, it wasn't authorized by the board. The board
Correct.
knew nothing about it.
So-
Well, we're talking about 6+ years ago. So
Again, we don't have to make a decision today. I told him I would bring it back in front of you all.
I'd like to have somebody just do the math of what would be a fair balancing act, because if you, let's say it's $10 a month for electricity, $10 a month for 120 for 5 years. I mean, what are we talking about?
I mentioned that to the gentleman, and it was kind of a,
Brush off.
yeah.
okay, well,
So do you have?
It doesn't
let's-
stop us
here's
from
what-
doing the calculation.
look, let's not push it around anymore. Let's come up with a number, and then effective immediately, we will, if we're supplying power, we will terminate that or set up a meter or whatever else, so we keep things clean. And I mean, I think we all have experience with easement costs. We just need to come up with a number.
Well, we
I mean,
haven't.
honestly, I don't think that the 10,000 is out of the question.
I think that number's ridiculous, but,
I do too.
I mean,
No.
personally,
I mean, many times you go and you ask for an easement, you're expected to pay for it.
So one of the alternatives is we might be able to find a way to finagle within our existing area. So I can tell you from a staff recommendation, I wouldn't recommend the 10,000. We haven't paid, you're setting precedents, and we ask for easements all the time from everybody else. They are benefiting from this, what we're proposing, because of the equipment that we're proposing to put in there, probably more so than anybody, especially if we put a bigger odor control unit in.
Have they ever complained about the odor?
In the past, they have, and I think that's what prompted this back in 2020. But ultimately, if you want to kick the can or if you want to throw a number, I can report back.
but you're saying we don't have to make that decision right now because there is another option. So I think I'm sorry, then my position is, let's vet the existing option out before we have to, because coming up with a number doesn't mean anything if we have an alternate approach that ends up being viable.
Okay.
Yeah,
Why don't we just postpone it for a month? And let them,
for staff to do diligence, continue due diligence.
Yeah, I like the $500. If we charge that, we give that.
Or what's the status of the work that Austin's doing? Will it be
Well-
done quickly to have it at the next meeting?
Yeah, we could probably, I don't know about the next meeting, maybe the second meeting in March, but,
a month.
because I think it's going to take some engineering. But ultimately, if we get the Thompson pump in, we'll just put it to the next prioritized location.
So I'm trying to
Move
figure out.
Table this to the second meeting in March,
The 19th.
Discussion on that.
I'll second it.
whatever day that
Okay,
is.
discussion, one thing, is that, did we get a calculation of what the square footage of the easement was?
Yeah, it's
How
a-
many
It's
square feet?
487 square feet.
How much?
487, it's in the.
487?
Yeah, it's in the
So
sketch.
that's how he got his 20 and 10,000. Okay. That's what I was trying to figure out. Okay. Motion on the board in a second to defer this to the second meeting in March. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Appointment of designee artwork selection. Boy, I thought I was in New York at the Kennedy Center or something. What are we doing here?
So ultimately, we mentioned about having artwork and getting community involvement. We put out some feelers to the community and see if they had any artwork that they wanted to submit that we could display in our admin building once it does, we get the certificate of occupancy on it. Do you want to designate somebody from the board, somebody from PrAC? Ultimately, do you want,
I know nothing about it.
That's what I'm saying. I know nothing about this.
so we have had some submissions. I just don't want to leave these people hanging, no pun intended.
I thought we had said before
I
that
just barely
we were looking
got through
for,
art appreciation in college, so.
I thought we said before that we wanted to see pictures of Gateway in the building, historic and,
Would be
We did.
nice,
We-
yeah.
and representing what makes it Gateway, whether it's communities or landscaping
Yeah,
or.
that's what we put out in the feelers, and like I said, we've had probably 2 or 3 submissions.
No, I'm not, you're saying all of this is coming through,
From residents that have submitted. Like, we sent it to the Pelican Preserve community. They have a whole group of painting, art, photographers, everything.
But what's the nature of the paintings?
Anything.
does it have to be a painting or is it mixed media?
Mixed media, yes.
But don't we also have we have to have historical
Oh,
photos
we got some, yeah.
here? I mean, I'd like to be a combination.
Okay. Well, the whole point of this is, do you have somebody you want to designate to review these pictures?
I'd say someone in staff do it.
It's beyond me. That's not my bailiwick. at
Claudia's
all.
not here, let's nominate her.
You guys are you're spending the most
Right
time.
and true method.
Yeah.
I nominate Flavia to do this.
I second it. We'll teach you.
That'll teach you to miss.
She's a designated art critic, yes.
There you go.
She'll say no art.
Oh, that.
There's a motion.
You snooze, you lose. There's a motion on it and a second. All in favor, say aye.
You guys did that to Josh or something. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was attending the,
Well, I just wants a lot of thinking on this. I don't want it to turn out to go walk inside there and it looks like we're in Oppenheimer or something. I mean, that.
I mean, pictures
your
can always
idea
be
of
changed
pic-
out.
I like your idea of pictures of the community. You might have an area to where you have like a modern deal that's limited to one area, but
Yeah.
preferably
No,
maybe as you walk in
Yeah,
type thing.
that was the idea. And
Or a mural.
There were some really good ones that were
Or
submitted.
the original site plan.
Yeah, big nude at Tinkle Golf Club.
we don't want to scare people off.
Fig leaf, gotta have a fig leaf.
Moving on.
Okay, Flavia.
Yep.
Monthly reports.
All right, anything for
Anything for
Laura?
me?
Under admin?
Anybody have anything on admin?
At what point, I'm sure we're not there yet, but with the new building, you're going to give us a rundown of what that tech's going to look like and.
I don't have it all in place. I'm about 85%, but we're working on, I bought some stuff to try for mounting hardware for monitors that I'm working through right now. So when I have it a little more not final, but pretty close to done, I'll be able to let you know. We're still working on heights and backs and stuff like that. So we're actively working through it. These are going with us, the microphones.
Yeah.
So that'll all be there. But I did find a very nice monitor mount that'll allow them to tilt. I have to mount it, turn it 90 degrees to get it to do what I want it to do, but it's feasible and they're cheap. So
Reasonably priced.
they're reasonably
personal-
inexpensive.
On a personal deal for us, what do we have in lieu of this so we don't have this again?
This will be lower.
It'll be lower.
So it's going to be like at a
It'll
a
tilt.
hidden view?
Not necessarily
can see
totally
over it.
hidden, but it'll be lower, much lower.
Burst
And
into
that way Carol can see over.
Is it going to be something that we can see before it's already done?
Yeah, once I have it.
They go like this or
it-
up and down or
It
side
goes
to side?
back, it tilts this way.
So you can basically tilt it at
Yes.
an angle.
That's why I want one to try it, so.
Yeah, it's better than the ones that are inside, because
Yes.
Cuyahoga County,
They're sort of like.
yeah,
in a,
Cuyahoga County used to have that where it was in,
Yeah.
and you
And
had
then
to
you
look
lose that
down
counter
to read it. It
space
was annoying.
and,
quite
yeah, so
frankly.
it'll basically be this, but it'll be tilted, so you'll be able to look over the
We
top.
met with the company that's literally building the dais, and they too recommended to just do what Laura's got and just do like a simple thing, and we can work on the height.
What is it set in a
No.
angled
It'll
deal?
mount like on the back like it is on here, but you'll be able to tilt it.
But it's,
so.
yeah, this will be lower, so you
And the
can see.
monitors will be this size or smaller, so I'm trying to keep it,
I have a hard
bring
time
that,
seeing
like
this.
this thing is huge.
Yeah,
want
so,
it
I mean,
like this.
They'll
all be the
I'd
same
say-
size.
Let's think about the dynamics of the display without getting them too much smaller.
No, my goal was to keep the same size as what we have now. That's my
Yeah.
intent, is to keep that, but you'll each have your own.
Obviously.
and
Just
it'll
recessed
tilt.
and angled would be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
would be
Maybe if you
great.
just angle this, it would
Yeah.
give you 3 inches, to,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And that's what we talked about, and obviously cord management will be part of it too. and-
Cable management was a big part of my stuff, making sure that we're running
Yeah,
off
we
more
don't
than
get
one outlet,
electrocuted underneath
things
here.
like
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
Exactly.
Okay.
yeah, and all of that stuff,
Tell you
you
something
won't
after the
see
meeting.
that.
Okay.
Anything else on admin report?
I just want to repeat, I guess. Laura and I had some meetings with different folks, and we are in discussions for sponsorships, and putting together a nice packet that we can have these discussions. I'm not promising anybody anything. Obviously, everybody who we've spoke to, I said, hey, I have a board I report to that'll have to come to them for their approval and consent, but just so you understand, kind of the idea is to crunch the numbers on if we were to redo the soccer fields, the P&I cost plus an O&M cost, dividing that by field, and then taking that same concept up to the commons, to the fun park, to the linear park, and then that way, if somebody wants to do the whole complex, they know what they know what it would cost, and terms and things like that. We can talk through that.
Yeah, what you may want to do, Chelsea, also is have the board adopt a policy for donations or sponsorships, so there's criteria that people understand up front. A lot of local governments have those so that there's clarity.
We're drafting it.
Okay.
So I just want to be, I had to get it out of my head, and Randy and Laura have been able to put it, make it look good and numbers and crunch. So, but I think this is going to be a great idea, a great solution to the problem, right? Is subsidization of our assets. And if we can get sponsorships, if it's a 5-year term, if it's a 10-year term, if it's a 1-year term, obviously that'll offset our residents' cost to these things and accomplish a capital improvement.
And remember too, so there's critical dates that are in different cycles. If you're talking about on the rec side, they typically run 2 seasons, right? If you're more on the competitive side or travel side, those seasons run from August to May. Those are almost year round. So if you're trying to attract, let's say, a travel or competitive teams, you have to think fields need to be ready by August in order for someone to even entertain leasing those fields from an annual perspective. So, and then the other window that opens up is the May through August, which is your summertime period, which a lot of times your competitive programs are shut down for the summer, but they also pick up. There's different tournaments and there's different sub things. So you have recreation, both youth and adult, and then you have competitive or travel. Most of those are going to be at the youth level. And then you've got, let's call ad hoc summer programs, camps, clinics, that type of stuff.
Gary's working on a 3v3 youth soccer competition, but like I said, I just wanted you all to be aware I was having discussions with potential vendors that are entertaining naming rights.
And I'll see if I can find out of the travel programs when they pin down, because normally a lot of the programs work with the counties. So county will either allocate or they will open up fields for them to rent or lease. I mean, it's funny. You go to North Collier on any given night, there's four to five different leagues and clubs out there.
Well, are any of these other ones that have these fields, are they having naming rights on stuff? Are they doing it?
Yeah, I've seen a couple. I mean, JetBlue paid $150, not saying that we're comp to that, but JetBlue paid $150,000 for like 5 or 10 years to have naming rights of that.
Well, Naples
But
High
different
School,
environments too, because Paradise Coast is private.
no, it's public.
I'm sorry, but it's
Collier County owns it.
Paradise Coast?
Yeah. Yep, that sports complex, $120 million worth of Collier County money.
I thought it was a partnership, private. and
They
public.
have a management company, but they built,
Okay, all
the
right.
funds were all county
And North
funds.
Collier is public.
Correct.
Astero's
Big
doing a
Corkscrew
partnership thing
is-
too.
I just wondered what's
Public.
It's Collier
our,
County. But like, for example, Naples High School, a lot of the high schools, like,
what's our basis of others doing this that
Well,
we have a chance?
That's what part of us doing this due diligence is, looking to see what others are charging.
What is happening?
Yeah, what's our market that we're fighting?
But that's the thing too, is most of the fields and parks are public. So
you can have it, for example, Naples High School, their football stadium, their field, DeVoe, now Hoffman is sponsoring it. So you can have that. And I guess one of the factors is private enterprise, their fiscal year is typically 1/1 to 12/31.
They do
As opposed to,
calendar. Yeah.
so they need to do their budgets. They're going to start their budgets in August, September.
I think there's 2 opportunities here. One is like naming rights, and we're private, so we can do that. And that's a little outside of just sponsorships, right? And the other is, if you are one of these big programs, they want to be able to have a home field. They want to be able to put up banners and their signs and brand it year round because they run their leagues, they run clinics, they run camps. I mean, that becomes an attraction to have a home field with branding and that type of facilities.
Which would be
And people would
basis
pay
for more
for
money,
that too. Because you go to North Collier, or actually what happens today, like with one of the clubs my kids plays for, we jockey between 3 and 4 fields. So we go to North Collier, we go to Paradise Coast, we go to Big Corkscrew, and then we go to a field in Bonita. The field in Bonita, I think, is kind of their home field, but you got to store stuff. There's no storage if you're hopping from one, so people want to be able to put their coaching equipment, put,
To make it more final.
different things. So literally it's your home field with, everything that you need. And there's a value to that. And that's what I think we would be trying to, to sell is
Would
we
that
can
be
give
like
you.
a shed or a?
It's anything.
A building or something like that?
It could be, shoot, it's even leveraging what we have right now. We've got,
Space commitment
it's
though.
space, yeah, it could be space.
We're wrapping up to the concessionaire agreement. They had some additional items that they wanted to sell in there that are all applicable to like running a league or sports like shin guards and that kind of stuff. So you should
Like
start.
apparel or retail.
Yeah, so you should start to see him operating in the next, he's biting at the bit to get in there. But that means we're going to be eliminating access to the leagues to that concession stand. So you might hear some grumblings from them. So I'm just letting you know now, because we've given them access to that concession stand for many years, mainly for the ice, more so since I've been here. But he knows their schedule, what they've rented on Facilitron. He is expected to be open during those times. So if they need anything, if they need ice, he's not to charge. That is ours that we give out. So.
But again, I'll go back to what I just said. Most of these teams are traveling from field to field. They do not have access to any storage or any, which again, in the past, I've said, hey, if we're leasing the fields and we told them we have storage, then they're paying, right. In today's environment, it is in addition and it's a plus. Matter of fact, it's not even available for a lot of locations.
Tony, do we have an alcohol prohibition against us on our property?
No, but we don't have the ability to get an alcohol license except for maybe at the problem.
I mean, like if we
A
would.
sale? I'm not aware of it.
I didn't bring it up at the park deal, but one of the differences is on the pool is like over at the country club, you have music and you have a bar.
Yeah.
And so you have an attraction there. Ours, we don't have that. So if you had like a food truck and you had alcohol, is it prohibited?
I'm not aware of any problem, subject to whatever the zoning is. You can double check the plug just to make sure alcohol sales, because there are restrictions on where you can do that relative to parks, facilities, schools, churches. And
Something like that.
That's more of a zoning land
You're
use
talking like
issue.
distribution, right? We don't have the ability to distribute.
Right,
or
but if we have a
sale.
contract with a vendor, I think that's what that's
We'd have to
talking
do it
about.
as a vendor.
Yeah.
Well,
Love
otherwise
that.
we'd have
Love
to
where
have
you're
a
going with that,
license.
Mr. Tinkle.
No, it's really
Love where
funny.
you're
Is it
going
healthy
with
on
that.
the pool next Saturday?
You want to
By
get
the way-
people at the pavilion.
By the way, the odd thing in the
Beer and
beverage,
wine.
the odd thing in the beverage law, municipalities and counties can have liquor licenses and beverage licenses for their facilities.
I think that's
Kind of
an
like the
option that we
Eastwood
need to
Golf
look
Course,
at.
but CDDs do not. They're not listed as one of the entities. Figure that one out.
If we're going to have people at that pickleball, I know even over at the club, you have people running back and forth from the pickleball court clear to the bar.
Well, we've already
The bar
talked about
comes to
having
the pickleball.
vending machines
Something
there.
like that, yeah.
So.
Okay.
And you could do it, Ed.
Anything else for administration?
Nope, utilities?
Ask Austin lots of questions.
I'm sorry?
Ask Austin lots of questions.
Nothing for Austin?
I
Great.
got, hang on, I got a list right here.
Stop. Anything for Public Works?
Public Works, how did the meetings, since I'm the next GOAT, Gateway Greens, that is, next Monday
That's
night,
utilities.
how did these meetings been going on the meter placement?
That's Austin.
How many lots? Yeah.
Nope, you just gotta talk. You don't even have to lean into it. It picks up.
Okay.
If it's green, you're good.
Okay. Austin Manoli, Assistant Utilities Manager. Attendance for the town hall meetings we've been having hasn't been the greatest.
It's been what?
Hasn't been the greatest. They really have, many people haven't honestly showed up.
I don't think a lot magnitude said we're going to do as far as landscaping. That, what did we say, 3 feet?
Well,
I mean, that's.
we're minimizing the impacts, so if we don't have to dig out more, they're not going to. But, yeah, we have up to the 3 feet per the rules.
But we've leveraged the pilot program, so right? We're going to do the same thing we did in Stony Brook and others. So we know.
We've told everybody the same thing.
Our problem with Gateway Greens is that over the years, because of the fact that it's just nothing's been done on it.
Yours is more mature.
They're gone. They're just totally covered with landscaping. And they're out of sight, out of mind.
Here's what I would do. I would have someone that is really good in front of the public. Once we go around and we do an assessment, and we mark where the meters are, we make a list of those that are going to have large areas of vegetation. We send someone and we knock on their door and we'd say, hi, I'm with Gateway District. We're prepping for the meter project. Can I just show you the area that and explain to you the impact that it's going to have? So, we're doing that. So we're saying, okay, so you do that and that's fantastic.
It's not only that, it's the issue is that the meter may be here right now, but because an oak tree is there, the meter may have to go here or here.
Well,
There's where the problem is.
Those we have skipped and come back to as part of a change order. But yes, the contractor goes out, they note any landscaping issues. Bill does a follow-up. He goes and knocks on these people's address, on their doors and says, hey, and we send out communications. We send out 2 or 3 communications.
I think if we talk to people, it'd be so much better than just doing it or them not reading or whatever. And,
Well, the big thing is right now, this project and the discussion at the meeting is for meter box replacement. We have yet to come 6 months from now, 7 months from now, whatever, we come back in and pull your meter out and put the new meter in. There'll be some downtime, which, I mean, we're not talking about anything significant on that. But the meter box placement sets the whole deal because that's where the meter is going to go, which means it's the final location, which means if we have to relocate it up or down the property, that could be.
You're just so excited for the town hall on Monday, aren't you?
Oh, I'm excited for it.
We're putting your personal cell phone number at the end of it too.
This definitely needs to be an item on our president's council.
Everybody at Gateway has it.
So it needs to be an item on our next president's council meeting, whenever that's scheduled, if it is.
April.
And 2, we need to make sure we get an email communication going directly to the presidents, keeping them informed on this project.
Well, we've sent the notice out as much as it's for what it's worth, blasted it to everybody. So I'm hoping that we'll get people out there. Now, keep in mind, 40% of our community is master associations. So you're not dealing like with individual homeowners. We've got about 750 individual homeowners that will be impacted by this.
We've got this down pat. Gateway Greens is the last community that we're entering other than commercial properties. And so
It's been a very quiet project.
That's what I was saying is when I told
It's
them.
almost scary.
That's
I need you
exactly
to
what
knock
it
on
was.
wood.
It's scary.
And you don't appreciate it till the first time you have to go out and turn your water off. And it's easy to pop the lid off and it's easy to turn the valve.
You're
And
not
I'm
in
like,
there.
holy
You
cow.
shouldn't be in that box.
Fire ants
Just
and everything
hypothetically.
else.
I've
Okay.
heard. So I've heard.
Okay,
Anything
so
for
we're looking forward to that.
Public Works? Anything for Public Works?
If you don't pay your bill in the day, it's good, you can't pay it, and they turn it off.
So when are we, all of the test meters and everything have been installed?
Yeah.
And now we're collecting data. For how long until we,
March 19th, we're coming
Another
to
couple
you.
months.
March 19th, next month, we're coming to you with our recommendation. Right now, Arcadis is crunching all of the criteria. We did some.
Is it clear?
Could be. Could be. We just sent 5 meters off from each of the pilot locations, each of those vendors for testing, and we just got those results back. So Arcadis is compiling all of this, and we're reviewing everything. And March 17th, we're going to make a presentation to you guys on who we're going to recommend to be the apparent winner.
so soon?
Yes.
Okay.
Another month.
I think the only thing I've seen relative to Public Works is where the lakes are getting low, really low.
You know, at one time, the flowway from Gateway to Pelican was absolutely dry in Pelican.
Maybe on your side. Our
Yeah, on
side
that
never
side.
has.
Yeah, it was
We've been low,
absolutely
but not
mud.
This is getting about as low as it has been.
So every time somebody tells me it's really, really low, I say, well, we're not to the historic low yet.
Good afternoon. For the record, Paul Flores, Public Works Director. Yes, it's a factor of rain. We have not had a whole lot of rain, so that's why our lakes are.
But we have no upstream basin.
That's right.
Nothing.
That's correct.
Other than we need rain, but.
It is what it is, Ed.
People are asking about this deal of the
Oh, yeah.
Irrigation. I tell them it's once a week. If you're out there watering it every day, you get caught, don't come to me.
It's not us, it's Lee County.
Right.
I know it.
Can I backtrack? Because I don't know if I've heard an update on this, but it probably was a month or 2 months ago, we were talking about the fungus.
We've got a meeting on that next week.
Does anybody have any updates on
the
grass fungus? Yeah, grass fungus.
The sugarcane mosaic.
Yeah, well, there was three. Well, at least
It was a big deal 18 months ago.
Phil
I haven't heard
Dietz,
much about it.
like I said, there's
Huge in
three
our-
different funguses or
Yes, it's
or
bad.
viruses that's going around. Or there
We're
was.
going to have a meeting next week at our board to basically set up what our plan is. We've had a couple of vendors that represent the majority of the people and try to get an idea of what is a common sense approach. We have some that have even gone so far as they're just going to paint their grass green and that's it. And I said, I don't think that's going to happen. The issue is how many months do they get to fix it? Because if they think or if there's several that have gotten the idea that sugarcane, University of Florida is going to have a cure to it and it's over with. And Florida is telling us via our vendors, it ain't going to happen. It's dead. You got to replace it. And you got to replace it with either Citra Blue or Palmetto. And Citra Blue right now, in my understanding, is very hard to get. So now you're down to Palmetto. We've had a couple people gone out and put in what they were told was Palmetto, and now we're having people saying, it's not what you got. That's what we're worried about, is having owners getting duped. So that's why we're trying to say, hey, if you've got a vendor, you work through your vendors so you don't get burned. Because you're talking $5,000-$10,000.
Yeah, are we communicating out to the presidents? I know there was something on Facebook a while back. I think Randy might have put something out about grass. I could be wrong, but are we letting the President's Council know, and even our residents, that we've identified these grass issues, these funguses, and here's the issue?
I mean, we just share the information that we get from the University of Florida. I mean, we're not the tell-all, be-all.
No, but I'm saying any opportunity we have to share that information, because again,
yeah,
in my great community of Stony Brook, it wasn't too long ago, they were issuing fines for dead grass, and I called JT. I'm like, JT, you realize
that's where we're at.
You realize we've got 3 different fungal infections and stuff, not only in Stony Brook, not only in Gateway, but like this is a bigger issue. So, our residents need to be aware of that.
We're trying to be reasonable, but the answer of doing nothing is not acceptable. So if people are going to have to do it, how long do we give them to do it?
we can do another update on it.
And another thing is what my guy's telling me is, hey, you need to put some water on. So, I mean, you're trying to fight.
The issue is that both, what do you call it? My own landscaper, Yardmaster, and Greatview, which is doing our work, is that this is not water shortage related. It's not water shortage related.
It's the fungus.
It's a virus that's going around. So.
But you can compact that with limits on water,
you
and
compact
then
it with, if you go out and put in new sod and you got a $5,000, $10,000 investment, one day a week ain't getting it to
You get 30
water it
days.
in.
You get 30 days.
You
for
get
new
30
sod.
days, yeah.
So we can send out an update on the sugarcane.
Paul, I went out and looked at the sidewalk. I think they did a reasonably good job on it.
It was decent.
Yeah.
I would
Not
give-
perfect, but better.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. No problem.
what other than meters right now? What's the top priority in utilities?
He's Public Works.
I mean, Public Works.
In
Sorry.
Public Works, it's lake bank projects right now. We got a few projects in Pelican Preserve, the streetlight projects. We just finished the Arch Bridge. We're wrapping it up pretty soon right now. Other than that, it's just day-to-day maintenance.
I don't understand what they're doing with the streetlights. I mean, what they've done is great. They identified all the old poles. They've installed the new poles. The new poles are lit, and the old poles are still there.
Yes, you'll start seeing.
No, they're taking them down.
They come back.
They haven't
Yeah,
pulled
they're-
very many out.
They come back
I don't
later.
know. The lights that we have, the pole, what do they call them?
LEDs?
No, along
Carriage
the
lights.
walkway,
Carriage lights.
the carriage lights.
Yes.
Here, how long were those new?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I literally just noticed them for the first time the other night, and it is really nice. It's really nice around that corner. Fully staffed, or do you have any staff?
We have one position that's vacant, but we're looking at maybe changing that or some options.
Okay. All right. That's all that I have.
We don't have a Potomac mess.
Thank you.
Virginia and Maryland and Trump.
Anything else?
Tony's turn.
Tony?
Sure. Let's see, where are we here? Can you bring it a little larger?
We got to get that print.
I will.
We
Give
gotta
me-
get
I got to
that
make room
print
for it
started.
first.
Yeah, I'll just kind of move on down
Yeah.
to the Daniels Park, like everything else in the first are taken care of. We have, I think that we have revised resubmittal, so I think 319 Chelsea's, we're estimating it to come to the board. And whether or not the temporary irrigation well agreement is needed depends upon whether or not we get the bill of sale from Timberwood Preserve for their utility line. I think, is that a fair statement, Chelsea? Whether or not we do the temporary well agreement, it's dependent upon whether we get the Timberwood Preserve lines. So that might be, that's sort of floating out there. The forest main, irrigation main, redundancy, SRF loan. Oops, we've got the loan agreement. It looks good. Working with bond counsel is the supplemental trust indenture. That's coming, I think, on the 19th meeting, I think. Is that it also, I believe, for the board? For the supplemental trust indenture for the $8 million?
Yes, it is coming to the board.
On the, with regards to the gentleman in Pelican Reserve and Prado, revised the EAU, easement use agreement, or to incorporate conditions that the board has suggested, so that's in there. Then in case there's any obstruction, we can immediately remove whatever's there. The Santa Luz, on behalf of the district, Chelsea and I made comments. On behalf of the association, Mr. Cooper made comments, sent them to the attorney for Lennar, and came back with, why did you make these changes that I told you at the beginning you couldn't make? And so we're waiting, that's paraphrasing, is that a fair statement? So we're waiting for their comments back. It's just very frustrating for all of us, quite frankly, as to the approach that Lennar and or their counsel are taking on that whole Santa Luz issue. It's very frustrating. And Arborwood Phase 3, today received the bill of sale that Chelsea received recently. It has some issues and needs to have a better descriptor of the assets being conveyed. So we'll get with that. And plus I need the attorney's affidavits and all the other affidavits. Concessionaire agreement and appendix, I sent that to Randy, and I guess they've sent it on to the concessionaire. That had audit and record keeping requirements so that the district can keep track of what their transactions are to make sure that we're getting the appropriate gross sales, which then leads to the appropriate percentage coming to the district. PPAC member is pro tem subcommittee member. My initial research, I talked to Carol about this. I didn't find anything about pro tem, but I found about ex officio. Still looking at and exploring that because it still has sunshine law implications. And so I think we'll have a future discussion on that if that's an item that the board still wants to discuss. The easement for Girl Scout lift station, we've already discussed. Storage tank, let me go all the way down. Irrigation line conveyance to the district and Timberwood Preserve, all the documents are prepared. Chelsea's provided that to the association. We'll just find out what their approach is. Shared use agreement with Lee County, we're waiting their revised draft. With regards to the shared use agreement, I found the one from 2022 that we sent them, Chelsea sent them and said, hey, we had one previously, let's use this as the template. Echelon, we talked about that today, and that's finalized. Board policies and procedures manual. Working with Chelsea and Georgia and Laura, I have a draft here. I'm going to hand out a hard copy, but I'll also email electronic copies to everybody. And then what I'll do is after you have read them, I'll just contact you in the next week and see if you've read them and have a sit down, just sit across the table and talk about your thoughts, comments, and or concerns. So I'll hand this out now to everybody.
Is it there?
Yes. There should be plenty there for everybody. And again, it's a draft form, and we welcome your input and comments on that. Everything else is pretty much ongoing basis, unless the board has specific questions about any other items.
Tony, is this handout, is this pair up with any rules or chapter rules that we've had in the past?
The idea was to reference them in here, and we also have an appendix, and so the idea is to make them
So
consistent.
does it make reference to those?
Yes, but there also
Okay.
might be some revisions made also, based upon this, because simple things like the way the order of procedure of the meetings is different than what was in there. So contemporaneous with any consideration of adopting this will be revising some other rules.
Is it just one chapter that it was modifying or amending?
Yes, and then there was a protocol that was adopted subsequent in decorum.
Okay.
But again, this is an attempt to incorporate some of that, but also references them. And there's some reference material in there. So I appreciate your all's patience on this. Again, it was a good exercise, I think, for all of us, quite frankly. And there were some good ideas from the board members as we had some discussions about how to handle some things. So, and that's all.
Questions for Tony? Bob? Good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Don't have anything.
On a brighter note, US won the hockey game against Canada.
US women?
Yeah, overtime.
Overtime?
Nice.
Who'd they play, Kenda?
Canada, yeah, they won 2-1 in overtime.
And the guys are playing too.
They're
aren't they?
playing tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow.
Finland
Okay.
or
Latvia, Slovakia.
Czechoslovakia? Or
Slovakia,
whatever the.
Yeah, one of the key is. So anyways, as an aside, also, it's really funny, 5 of the women on the team went to a high school from Rochester.
Pretty cool article.
Yeah, it was a pretty neat article. Yeah.
Agenda for future, Chelsea?
Just the next workshop is March, and that's going to be aeration. So we'll present to you what you directed us to do, the trunk line, some time ago, and we'll put together a presentation to show you.
Say that again? I thought whether we could do the trunk line or not was the purpose of the discussion.
You guys voted some time ago for us to put together the numbers on trunk line, if we chose to do trunk line. So we're going to be.
I don't recall that, because I don't think we ought to do the trunk line at all.
All we're doing is all we did is put together the numbers, and then Stephanie's got a case on how we're going to recommend we proceed with putting aeration if you so chose to.
When you guys did that over there, how did you do the specifications on the vendor?
We worked through Tetra Tech, and I don't remember now who the sub.
Was it?
We got engineering.
What's the word? One. Wasn't specific to a company.
No,
It was
no.
a performance spec.
Correct.
Okay.
And we had a couple of classes, different people presented what they thought we ought, like, how far are diffusers, how often do you have turnover rates, and should you have more than one aerator in a pond? There was a lot of things.
When we have that meeting, will we have, or Stephanie and the staff gotten with FPL so we know where our points of connection
Yes,
can
but
be?
it's only for the trunk line one, the trunk line ponds.
But at least with that, we have that information.
And then, but again, if you guys change course or you have a different priority, we would do the same procedure. We'd go back to FPL. We'd identify the locations. We'd make sure that there's available space in those.
Initially, that was a real tough nut to get over.
Yeah, so we finally, we got that information a month ago. We'd only been asking for 2 years.
When we put the first 15 in, we spent more money getting electric than we did buying aeration and installing.
That's not uncommon.
And therefore, when Cypress Crow was developed, we got Lennar to do it. Nichols then.
The other one I was going to ask you, did they hit you with a meter base every time you had a connection? Do you have a meter at every deal?
I can't answer that. I would have answered in the past, yes, but that's no longer true because we found overlap. Sometimes it's an irrigation meter.
What I'm worried about
Sometimes
is
it's a
a
lighting
meter-based
meter.
rate. That could be catastrophic price.
So we didn't want to do that. We didn't want to pay for a meter for all of them. So Ed Hedges is more familiar with that, but he would look at each site and then made some kind of a calculation as to who owed what.
Yeah, because the meter minimum will be more expensive than the usage.
Right. And we found that out too, the hard way. We were going down that road till we realized it was a mistake.
So ultimately, you guys.
Well, I look forward to that meeting.
You know how much aeration costs. We don't have.
It ain't cheap.
We don't have the money in the budget to do it. We could probably do a pilot pond or one or two.
It's a bond anyway.
Yes, and so this kind of would tie into the bigger conversation if we wanted to do another bond series to cover these capital costs.
Did you ever, I thought you guys had done, this was a couple of years ago, had done a crude calculation that it came out somewhere around, all in, $5,000 to $6,000 per acre of water.
I don't know that I ever saw it on acres. We didn't really look at it that
Oh,
way.
that from somebody, and I would say, if that's the case, that's going to be a big number.
Oh, it's a big number. But we also looked at the long term of the cost of dredging, and we kind of offset that. Supposedly, you got to dredge every 25 years if you don't keep your pond aerated and
See,
healthy.
that's got me concerned is where we're at on
Yes,
that too.
yes.
Because we've had ponds, 37 years now, and they've not seen the light of day of a dredge.
And we've never, well, we only did one pond that we conscientiously tried to measure the muck on the bottom before we did something.
Now, when you're dredging a pond, are you dredging it, and then what are you doing with the?
What you try to do is return the pond to its volume. Right. To get the volume. that
And
was
also to
really-
keep it alive. If you don't airate,
But what do you do with the mud?
it's got to be
Well,
removed
that,
away.
your first question is what is the mud?
Yeah, yeah.
Because if it's got,
Sulfates and
things you
Bad
don't
stuff.
want in there, you can't get rid of it. You
nobody wants to
pay
take
through
it.
the
Pay out
nose
the
to have it treated, especially you get into the metals. That's the last thing we need to do, and you don't want to go in blind, put in aeration, stir that mess up, and then have that stuff going out. Then
Ours were
we'll
new
have
enough, Doug. We
South
didn't have a
Florida
big
all
risk with
over
that.
us.
So-
But you guys will have a
I-
much bigger risk.
Yeah.
I just want to preface that the aeration workshop is like 50,000 foot overview, okay? Because ultimately, you guys haven't given us clear direction as a board. You've said, hey, let's look at the pricing on the trunk lines, so that's what we've done. So you haven't
I remember
said,
Tinkle saying that, not Gefford, but okay. We'll cut that around.
okay,
Him and his trunk lines.
so that's, again, it is very, very preliminary.
I thought Laura was also going to give us some idea of how much money in the existing bond issue might be able to be used for other things.
I thought you did that at the last meeting.
I thought I did too.
You're talking about that original, what, 40, $50 million?
No, no,
No,
no.
no, the
Are you, well, let me ask.
The 30, when
The 13 million.
55, Are you talking the validation or the original bond series that we borrowed 13 million on?
no, not that.
The master?
big one.
Okay, we can do that.
The big one where you had the Parks and Rec and all
55
that.
mil, yep,
And-
we can do
Right.
that.
When we, when
What,
we,
what of it have, I mean, there might be some items that you've decided we're never going to do. So,
We need a recap
yeah.
Okay.
where we're at on that.
when we
Yeah.
talk about aeration, can we just be prepared? You guys might be able to speak. Historically, I hope I don't speak out of turn here, but historically, like in Gateway, we don't have a water quality issue, right? We've had some outbreaks with some algae and some other stuff and things that we can control, but we've never had a water quality issue.
Well, we did 5, 6, 8 years ago when we had the fish kill.
I was gonna say, fish kill
We had the fish
created,
kill.
Right.
I said it.
Yeah, well, that was my
That was an
point.
oxygen issue.
It was oxygen, it was a temperature differential.
Yeah.
How quickly can that turn? So
Overnight.
yeah, so I know that we do a lot of things and we're talking about aeration, we're talking about all these different things to keep our ponds healthy. I want to be forward looking to say, we're great, but how do we ensure that we stay great? Because I think the cost to fix water might be even more expensive than it is to maintain it. You know what I mean? And I don't know that's true, but I mean, that's why.
Well, we're kind of getting into the workshop stuff, but that's taking a historical stance, looking at, because again, I have not been here through this, and Stephanie nor any of the current staff. So what we discussed was look at the historics. Where have we had consistently issues? And what are we trying to achieve? Are we trying to achieve an improvement of 1 TSI, 2 TSI, 10 TSI, and then quantifying that? So we're going to present all of this at the workshop.
Okay, that sounds.
It's an expensive proposition. I want to make sure that if we do it, we do
Anything
it with
else?
our eyes wide open.
So that's next workshop.
Yep,
Okay. Anything else?
I hope not.
Board member comments? Bob?
Nothing.
Doug?
No, I'm good.
Carol? Me either.
Okay.
Move to adjourn.
When
Thank you.
Flavia's not here.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
I was looking for.